Hey guys, what's going on? Jacob here. So now that we know how to set up our tables to talk to each other and we know about table relationships, it's time to do that in the code itself. Today we'll talk about joins so that we can get valuable information out of multiple tables. So let's get started. Joins in SQL are how we combine rows from multiple tables together based off of a related column. So remember how we talked about those related columns in our sports database last week? Those are going to come in super handy right now. There are 4 different types of joins that we're going to talk about today. InterJoins, LeftJoins, RightJoins, and FullOuterJoins. I'll get to the specifics for each one a little bit later, but for now let's go over the sort of basic syntax for this. The first thing that we need is our select statement and the columns that we want to display. This is similar to our basic select statement, except that you put the table name or alias and then a dot before the column name. If you're using aliases, you need to use as and then the alias for the table after the from for the first table and after the join statement for the other tables. And then we have join, again either inner, left, right, or full outer, the other table name, and then on, and then the shared column from both tables so that we can line up the rows. Both of these columns need to be called when we call the columns in our first part of the select statement. So a super basic inner join for our database from last time would look like this. We're able to line up players and their individual game stats. InterJoin is the most common join in SQL. It returns only the rows that match up in all the tables. So if there is a player that hadn't played yet, that player would not show up in our results. As I mentioned in the example in the previous section, all we need to do is call the InterJoin after the from clause, and then the second table and the columns to align the row with. A left join is similar to the inner join insofar as all the rows will be matched up against each other. However, the difference comes in that all the rows for the first table will be shown regardless of whether there's a match on the second column or not. So those rows will have null for the columns in the second table. As for how you run a left join, it's just the same as inner join except that the text is replaced with left join. As the name might suggest, RightJoin is just the opposite of LeftJoin. This means that all the rows in the second table will be displayed whether or not there's a match in the first table. Again, you can run a RightJoin the same as the other joins except that you use RightJoin. Finally, we come to the FullOuterJoin. Like the name suggests, this is a total join of all of the tables. All of the rows in all of the tables will show regardless of if there's a match on the other table. Those rows will just have null for the columns in the other table. Again, running a FullOuterJoin is the same as the other joins with the FullOuterJoin text used instead. Well, that's all for today. Next time we'll talk about how to connect SQL and PHP so that we can pull data out of the database and display it on a web page. In the meantime, do you have any questions over what we went over today? If so, be sure to leave them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. But until next time, good luck and happy coding.